What's going on, guys? Welcome back to LOI Fan TV. God, it has been a while. I'm joined today by Socko and Griff. Lads, how are we keeping?
Good. You?
Yeah, listen, can't complain.
Been a while, like bit rusty.
As you can see from the title of the video, we're going to be reacting to our 2021 league table predictions. Had a quick glance earlier, and not great to be honest. At the beginning of the video, Griff set himself a target of 5. Is there a goal you're setting for yourself out of 10?
First, I do think I will get 10 out of 10, but realistically, 5 out of 10 is probably realistic.
How would you think you did in relation to that target?
Jesus. I don't know. Based on your reaction just there and stuff, I'm not particularly hopeful now. So I'm gonna go conservative. I don't think I made 5, to be honest with you.
I think we probably did okay down the lower end of the table, but I think a few of us had Dundalk pretty high. So
a lot of it is kind of small. Just looking at a lot of it's kind of small margins. Like it's like one place wrong, one place kind of thing. Like so. You got in the right areas. It's one kind of the small margins in the league because at one stage it looked like Dundalk were going to finish 8th or 9th and they finished in 6th type of thing. So we'll start at the very bottom of the table. I'm going to put in the clips from the video from before. 10th place, and who did you go for?
And Harps, Boyle and hot take.
I think Longford's the safer option of the two. I think.
Yeah. I'm going Waterford.
Waterford.
Wow. Bottom of the league.
Wow.
Yeah, Waterford bottom of the league.
5th last year.
In 10th place, we had one correct answer. Griff went for Longford. I went for Waterford, and Socko went for Finn Harps. So I think half of the reason I think Socko's pretty similar is because we were thinking. Just interviewed Dara Doyle. Like we wanted the best for Longford. Really nice fella. Newly promoted side. Wished him well.
On now,
but they were well adrift in the end. I think what was it 15 points they finished with or something.
I couldn't do it to him.
Yeah,
felt too bad. It's when we weren't telling the truth there. To be honest, we.
Jesus Christ!
Longford was probably the obvious one to go for, probably in terms of the size, the budget maybe available and stuff. But it's funny to look back at it now. Waterford, I said Waterford at the time, and I remember you were both a little bit like, what? Like I think they finished 5th league the season before, but obviously a high turnover. Kevin Sheedy coming in. It did look like Mark Burkham was going to drag them up the table a little bit, but obviously they did get relegated in the end. But yeah, Waterford wasn't an awful shout. Probably Finn Harps is the worst shout of the lot for bottom of the table. They did finish 8th in the end. I remember Socko had a bit of stick as well at the start of the season. Do you remember had to go buy the jersey and all that stuff as well?
Yeah, I thought I might just dig my grave a bit more with Finn Harps fans now. So
yeah. Do you ever buy the jersey?
Where's that jersey, by the way, Socko?
Huh?
Do you ever buy
Where's the jersey?
Absolutely not. Like.
Oh my God! Like
I'll see one when they bring out this season. Now I might reconsider.
Moving into 9th position, then we were all wrong again. So I've gone Longford in 9th.
Longford as well.
I put Finn Harps. I think, to be fair, it was for me it was a toss up between them two, 9th and 10th.
Me and Socko, we both went for Longford there. Griff, you went for Finn Harps, so you went too far off with them. And obviously Waterford finished 9th in the end. So it's one of those ones where it's the small margins again. Both of us going for Longford, Griff going for Finn Harps and 8th. Happy enough with those, the relegation spots? Happy enough with those shouts?
Yeah, no, listen, I mean, they were kind of obvious at the start of the season. They'd be kind of near down the bottom. To be fair to Finn Harps, at the start of the season, they went on a mad run. They were doing quite well. I think they were coming 5th and 6th at one stage, which would have made Socko look even more sillier. But it obviously dropped off towards the end, so I mean, kind of standard, really, isn't it?
Yeah, they did, to be fair, have a big few results against. I think they pushed Rovers, Pats, and Bows when they visited Ballybuffet close, and what's your man's name? Oluwabe scoring a good few goals there during the back end of the season. So they did impress me. You never thought they were in kind of very, very serious threat of relegation. Like I always kind of, well, not at the time, but as the season went on, you expected them to kind of grind out a few results, and they did finish in 2 points clear, same as Drogheda. It was just important for them not to be dragged into a relegation fight.
8th place, I've gone with Drogheda.
Same here.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yes, first time we agree on. Yeah, unanimously, we all went for Drogheda in 8th place, and they did finish 7th. So we weren't too far off, all of us there, and that one was kind of always going to be in and around that spot. Obviously, Finn Harps did finish in 8th in the end. So yeah, Drogheda. We kind of expected them to be around there. They had a little bit of experience with the likes of Dane Massey coming in, a lot of good players coming in, Darren Markey and the likes as well. So it was we always felt like they'd be kind of just out of any kind of trouble, and it was kind of the case in the end, wasn't it, for Drogheda? They were all right.
They did kind of push like a lot of the bigger teams when they visited like Headingley Game Park close. Same with Finn Harps. You never really expected them to be in a really tight relegation battle, and 7th place, and especially the signings they've made the last few weeks, like you expect them to hopefully maybe like build on that, go a place or two higher next season.
Yeah, I clearly have a lot more faith in Finn Harps than used to. I'll put them in 7th.
At Waterford in 7th.
I went with Soccer. I went for Waterford as well. So
moving on then into 7th place, obviously Drogheda did finish there, as we said. Usbet went for Waterford in 7th place, and I went for Finn Harps. So it's kind of just the mix and match between the bottom 4, really, isn't it? It's just the same again.
Yeah, I think we all had kind of like at the start of the season, we all knew who'd be in and around the bottom 4. It was kind of like a lottery pick, really. Who you'd pick to go down, or being at 9th place position. I've said Longford obviously 10th, and then you said just talk to your man, so to be nice. So I think though that bottom 4 kind of picked itself though at the start of the season if you looked at like the budgets that they had and the squads that they had. So yeah, it was kind of a lottery pick, really.
Touching on Waterford, then we predict them to be 7th. Like it was nuts. As it got to the end of the season, kind of just the wheels totally fell off, and Berkham like famously left or was sacked, depending on who you talk to. Like I remember that Bows beat them in the cup semi-final, and then 2 or 3 days later they played again in Dalymount, and like Waterford beat them. I think it was 2-1 or something. I think mad result. So they did pick up, and it's the great thing about the league. Like you can never really take any 2 teams for granted. Like everyone kind of beats everyone, and that's going to happen over such a long season, like a 36-game season. And Waterford did pick up a few like huge results along the way, and just couldn't. I think it was Pats, if I'm not wrong. They were playing the last game of the season. I think it ended at 0-0. Couldn't get that goal to keep them safe. And then all the stuff that happened with Mark Berkham, like it was only right that they got relegated, I think. And like it was totally unbelievable what happened. And we've touched on that before, but like it's a massive task for them to get promoted now next season.
In 6th place, lads, me in particular, I've had an absolute stinker. Sixth place, I've gone with St. Pat's.
Ooh.
You didn't do great either, I won't lie. But in 6th place, I went for St. Pat's.
Oh my God, like Jesus. Way off, like.
Oh, absolutely shocking. St. Pat's in 6th.
Like,
oh my God.
Finished 2nd in the league, like. Oh,
won the cup as well, like
won the cup, like, unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Still doing well for
season, like.
season, yeah.
I went with Sligo.
Yeah, I same as Griff. I had Sligo in 6th.
You went for Sligo. Both teams went for Sligo. Finished 3rd, so that's pretty poor shout as well.
That's pretty poor as well. Yeah. Oh my God.
But Pats is awful.
Who were you thinking?
I actually don't know. To be fair, I think we were all saying like Derry, Sligo, Bows, Pats, very tight between them. At the start of the season, you didn't see much between them really. Like it's kind of hard to know. Obviously, Pats did do really, really well last year. And yeah, I have to take that one on the chin. That might be the worst shout of the whole video, to be honest. Obviously, Dundalk finished in 6th, which none of us really saw happening at all.
Yeah, that was mental. Like, I mean, well, especially for Dundalk anyway, like like the season they had was just crazy. I remember at the start we were talking about the signings that they made, and they were gambles at the time. Like there's some of the players you bringing in like Sonny Natastad, and I can't even remember the fella from Latvia, the left back or the right back. And you're kind of thinking this could go either brilliantly or completely wrong. It's been shocker. They had an absolute shocker season. So the St. Pat's one is a bit like that's a bit mad show, just considering the season they had was unbelievable. Like I mean, when the cup and coming 2nd, like really pushed Rovers towards the end as well. Like so, I mean, I'm not sure if you could have foreseen that at the start of the season, though. To be fair to you, like so.
Well, in my defense, both of you put Pats in 5th.
Yeah, I went for Pats in 5th.
Same here. Pats in 5th.
So that's not much better.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean?
It's not much better.
Could be European spot. But no, just touching on the Dundalk thing. Like I remember Ross and I went up in April. I think Bo was beat them 1-0 in Oriel, and Filippo like wasn't. I can't remember if he was allowed on the sideline or not, but he was like in the stand shout. He might have been banned for a game actually, if I'm not mistaken. But he
I
was
think it was
just
about the whole it was the whole license thing was coming about or something.
just Shane
like that.
Keegan was on the sideline.
Yeah, I think it's something like that.
Yeah. I can't remember what it was because
Fiasco.
like I knew he was still in charge, but I remember him really clearly in my mind, like sitting in the stand, like 15 seats in front of us, just like shouting at Shane, shouting at the players and his Italian assistant, and like Ross, like me and you were sitting there and just saying, this is like nuts, like this can't go on. And sure, like a month or two later he was let go and Vinnie Pert was brought in, the very guy the same owners sacked 12 months previous. Like the owners now peak six who aren't there anymore. Oh sorry, they had Jim Gilton in the middle of that for the 8 or 10 weeks. I say a lot of Dundalk fans just couldn't wait to get that season over with, start off in a clean slate.
I've actually got Sligo in 5th. No, as I said, in 5th, both of you went with Pats. I went with Sligo as well, so we kind of reversed there, 5th and 6th there. We all had a similar enough idea for that area. Obviously Bow was actually finishing 5th, which Neville saw as well. Definitely disappointing campaign for them. Flopped in the cup final, finishing not in European spot. Keith Long out maybe.
Just shut up, like honestly, like absolutely baiting here. Like no, it was overall, it was like you could definitely call it disappointing. Like I mean, getting to the cup final, having like the biggest attendance in the cup final ever, in the Aviva, like, and then for them to like lose in penalties, just a bit sick, really. The league campaign, I mean, you could kind of see from the start, it just wasn't like a few of the signings took a while to settle in. It wasn't really firing all cylinders. To be honest, if Georgie Kelly hadn't stepped up, honestly, at the start of the season, I remember it being like, he's not up to it. Like he's not gonna. How he's gonna be able to lead the line? How are we able to get goals? And to be fair to him, he stepped up and got a lot of really important goals. Throughout the season, 20 odd goals during the season, like, which is crazy. Like no one would expect that 5 weeks in. Like
now he's going to League One or Championship or whatever.
Exactly.
Like,
which is crazy, like considering where he came from, really. So if it wasn't for him, I think we would have been in a lot deeper trouble. Like so there's some positives to take, I suppose, like with like a few of the younger players. It's the same really every year, isn't it? Like I mean, those players eventually will probably get like moved on. It's just going to be like recycled by Keith Long, which is why it's kind of disappointing to get to a cup final and then to lose in that way, because they're those kind of occasions are few and far between, really. And when the team keeps on getting, rebuild it every single year, and it's, ultimately Bows are like they're a selling team at the moment, like, so it's disappointing, but move on.
And just kind of touching on that, like I think Keith Long is a massive task in the signings. It seems to happen to Bows like every season where he has to go through a mini rebuild, like especially after I know it was disappointing, but a lot of players stepped up, like Andy Lyons, Liam Burke, Kelly, like the list goes on. So like whether it's the States, Australia, Championship, League One clubs, Scotland, they all come in then in the winter. And off the top of my head, you've like Ross Tierney gone to Motherwell, Rob Cornwall, Keith Buckley gone as well, Georgia Kelly rumored to be leaving.
That's done. He's 100% going.
That's done. Okay,
He hasn't picked his destination yet, but he's 100%.
Like massive task for him. Pretty encouraging that they have a lot of young players coming up as well. But if they're to retain their position or do better next season, they're gonna have to sign like two or three biggish names and a goal scorer, a good number 9 to fill that gap, that I think 23 goal gap that Georgie Kelly's going to leave now.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. They're not going to finish where they did last season or in front of that, I don't think. And the reason for that, I think, is genuinely, I'm not trying to wind you up. Georgie Kelly going.
I agree with you. Like.
Georgie Kelly going. Obviously, I think like usually you have a couple of the front players, like we saw Andre Wright and the likes kind of going the year before. Obviously Chris Twyla coming back is actually, I think, is that done? I'm not sure if that's done just yet. That could be huge.
I think it's basically done, yeah.
Yeah, I think Donny thing really, apart from obviously losing the few players up top and stuff, losing the kind of players that have been the mainstays over the years, your Buckleys, your Keith Wards, your Rob Cornwalls, those players, losing those, I think is going to be huge for them. I think they're kind of, especially Keith Buckley in particular, it's irreplaceable nearly in that midfield for them. And that's where I'm really concerned for Bows next season. But we'll definitely touch on it more in leading up into the campaign. But yeah, that's the kind of those mainstays. are definitely the area where I'd be most concerned for Bows next year. Those kind of players they've had year on year and that Keith Long trusts like so much. So yeah, that's the big concern for me. But yeah, moving into the top 4, lads. By the sound, then everyone's gone with Derry in 4th, then have they?
Yeah.
We actually got this one spot on. All 3 of us unanimously went for Derry to finish in 4th, and they did finish in 4th. Obviously, they started off the season really, really poorly. Declan Devine did lose his job early on, and obviously Rory Higgins came in and did really, really well. And things definitely looking up for them going into the new season. A lot of money gone in. Duffy and McElhenney and the likes, but 4th for them, they'll be delighted with that. And obviously, with Bows losing the cup final, they do have European football, which is huge as well.
No, absolutely. Like considering it's at start of season as well, like with the position they were in until Rory Higgins came in, like you were kind of tipping them like to be in that bottom 3, bottom 4. They had a shocking start of the season, like but considering now, like complete turnaround. Rory Higgins did an unbelievable job to get them into that top 4, and then you got the money coming in. Like that's gonna be massive for the league. Like seriously, so it kind of brings another team to compete really for title, which is all we're gonna see. So looking forward to it.
Moving into the top 3, this is where I get interesting now. I've gone with Bows in 3rd.
Same here.
I've reluctantly gone for Bows in 3rd, yeah.
Moving to 3rd, then we all actually went for Bows there as well. We all went for Bows in 3rd. Yeah, a little bit off of that one, obviously finishing 5th in the end, but it's that bit of consistency with Bows actually, wasn't it, really, in the end, that kind of did them in a little bit, because at times they played really good football and stuff. But it was Sligo who did finish in 3rd. Really good year for them, quite consistent throughout. Club actually, they had a one dip, I think, around the Europa League when they got knocked out of the Europa League. I think they actually went on a bad run, 8 or 9 games. I think they went with poor results, but pulled it back towards the end. Obviously, Johnny Kenny, standout player for them. I think 11 or 12 goals he got. Obviously, looking at what Celtic are going to sign him. A couple of really, really good players last year, like Greg Bolger coming in, very experienced and stuff. So, yeah, a good season for Sligo overall, definitely finishing 3rd.
Yeah, definitely. They'll be really disappointed to go out with the first round, I think, to an Icelandic side in the Europa Conference League.
Shocking result, like.
Yeah, and I think it was only 1-0, and they went on that bad run after that, as you said. But they were just like, you could argue the Bows might have the better squad of players, but just Sligo just seemed to have the consistency, and they were just getting consistent results. Whereas Bows, like, they might beat Rovers in a massive Dublin derby and then lose to like a Waterford or like a draw with Harps the next week.
Yeah.
So really good season for Sligo, and the European football next season obviously is huge in keeping players and attracting new ones for next season. So yeah, they'll be delighted down at the showgrounds. Throw in the pitch there, just
Just journalistic little like icing on the cake. Like
I've gone with Shamrock Rovers to win the league and Dundalk to come 2nd.
I said Dundalk to win and Rovers come 2nd.
Did you?
Yeah, same as Griff. Same as Griff.
Really?
Yeah.
Moving to the top 2 then, I think Griff, you were saying before the video, you remember tipping Dundalk to win the league at the start of the season, and Shamrock Rovers to come 2nd. Soccer, do you remember what you went for?
I can't remember, to be honest.
You agreed with Griff. You went for Dundalk to top the league and for Shamrock Rovers to come 2nd. And I was the only one who went for Rovers to win the title, Dundalk to come 2nd. So I'm happy with that one. At least I got that one right. Obviously, way off with the Pats shouting 2nd place. But yeah, I think everyone Dundalk, like, it was such a weird season. Like, no one expected that at all. Like,
yeah, for them to be in 9th at one place, just crazy. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
To be fair, I mean, like the signs they made were a gamble. I know we were all saying start last season, like, were they going to pay off? I still thought, like, I mean, they still had like a good base, a decent squad. Like I still thought they'd win. They were in the cup final the year before as well. Like, like won the cup. Like, I mean, and also I didn't want Rovers to win, so that was probably like a driving factor behind it. So
yeah. It was the keeper situation.
Yeah.
Was it? I remember at the start of the year, Bibby was having stinker after stinker, then Cherry came in and started having a few stinkers as well. It was just
every week
such a mess.
every week they changed. I
shocking.
think the President's Cup, the like Irish equivalent or the English equivalent of the Charity Shield in February, they beat Rovers on penalties, was it? And like a BB did the massive, I think he saved one penalty, but he was doing give it in the big one. Give it in the big one, like
so funny, like.
And then he just like has a shocker the next week, and it remains to be seen. I think Dundalk on the market for another keeper. The last thing I heard, but yeah, no one would have predicted the roller coaster season they had. Just touching on like Pat's coming there in 2nd, absolutely superb. I really thought that Stephen Donald only like a year and a half thereabouts. They could kick on. You fully expect them to kick on next year, push Rovers even further, and like no one could have predicted like the Dundalk story, what's happened. So the big task for Pats now to keep that consistency with the likes of Derry coming in now, Sligo there and thereabouts. And I tell you, I can't wait for the new Dundalk Pats derby that's going to happen next season.
Yeah, it's gonna be spicy, isn't it? Yeah. Touch on Pats yourself, Griff. Obviously your brother supports them. Huge year for them. Cup final win and second place finish. Very successful season.
No, to be fair, the Pats brilliant season. Like, bit sick that like Paddy obviously supports them and they won, but listen, is what it is. Like, I think they probably obviously like over the season they probably did deserve to come second. They were real consistent. Push Rovers, like they were the furthest team to push Rovers really. It was just the squad depth which killed them. When we said that like before, just Rovers have such unreal squad depth. Like it's going to come down to like even some like the 90-minute winners that Rovers had like throughout the season, like just because you have fresh legs on the pitch really. That's what it came down to. So it was fine margins. It's just a shame really considering they had such a good season. Like the situation that's transpired with Stephen O'Donnell and like the fallout from that is just crazy considering like
court case.
Honestly, like it's crazy considering like how it happened. I think it was all coming out like even only 3 or 4 days after they just won a cup final. So I think a lot of that, success being overshadowed really by, I think what a lot of Pats fans see is like, betrayal almost, like, which is and kind of snakiness, which is kind of warranted in a lot of ways. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting. Socko said like Dundalk versus Pats like this year is going to be some fixture like.
Absolutely. I mean, we have to finish off with the champions. Shamrock Rovers, of course, winning the league. And now, look, after bringing in Jack Byrne now for the season ahead, it looks like it could probably going to stay the same again next season. Looks like they're going to be very, very difficult to throw them off that top spot. But at the same time, a lot of obviously challenges coming up ahead of the new season. But listen, they did excellently last year, kind of ran away with it in the end. Obviously, they'd be disappointed. I think Bows went in semi-final of the cup, didn't they? Probably disappointed enough with that. But in the league, just incredibly consistent throughout, really.
Yeah, they never looked like slipping up. Did a few like disappointing results. I think Bows beat
a couple of late winners and stuff where they got lucky a lot of times as well. Actually, not lucky.
Champions, cliche. If I think they had a few little slip ups, like Bows beat them in 2 Dublin derbies. I think Pats got 1 or 2 results against them. Other teams were there and thereabouts, but they never looked like losing it. And I think the last minute winner against Pats, it might have been June. It was August, and I was at it, and I was kind of thinking, okay, that's one hand on the league title now. Just so consistent. Like Richie Tell, decent season. Danny Mandrew, really impressive this season. Kind of started off slowly. I think I saw him.
He's a player of the year in the end, wasn't
he? Yeah, the first game of the season, and I know you can't judge a player on one game, but I thought he was way off. But really impressed me this season. Hoping way off. Hoping for another like Ireland call up now. And like who better to have in the defence than like Pico Lopez, Alan Manis, Liam Scales, obviously leaving for Celtic. But they'd be the ones to beat next season.
Absolutely. Griff, a word for your rivals?
Listen, I mean, I'm not going to like expand too much on what Socko said, but they had the best squad in the league, really. Probably deserved, to be fair to Danny Mandrew, really, real good season. And it was just like I think he scored like 3 like 90-minute winners or something stupid at some point. To be fair to him. So deserved winners, clear winners from the start, really. They're the most consistent team. And to be honest, I'll probably win it again next year. Like just bringing back Jack Byrne is just, another, like, on top of like bringing in Richie Tell before, and like it's just another like really, really solid high level player. Like, fair dues to them. Being nice.
Tough to see it going anywhere else at the moment anyway. So just reflecting back on the league tables, Socko, you got 1 correct answer from your league table predictions, and me and Griff joint winners with 2.
2, like, oh my god,
absolutely outrageously bad. Small margins.
I can't believe I said at the start I was like I'll get 5 like from like at the start of last year. I said that, like,
it's very difficult.
2, like.
It is very difficult.
It is. Man.
Can't show my face in the league next season now.
Yeah, yeah. But especially in the League of Ireland as well, though, because you're looking at it from the start of the season and it's a completely different landscape by the end. Like Mark Berkman at Waterford instead of Kevin Sheedy at the start, and all these different scenarios just changed throughout, and Giovanni going and stuff. So it's so hard to know. Like everything just changes so quickly. The league is just absolutely nuts. Like you just don't know what's going to happen day to day. So, but I'm sure we'll do one of these videos again ahead of the 2022 campaign. I'm sure.
Definitely. What's the content called? Like one regular week of SSC. That's all I want.
That's all. Yeah. Lads, an absolute pleasure as always.
Good to be back.
Boys.
Good to be back as right. Please do drop a like on the video if you did enjoy. It is much appreciated, and make sure to subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you very soon.